Today, we're talking about how to get more qualified leads that ultimately help you sell more without having to make cold calls. Right now, there is a pot of gold in your business that you may not know about, or you're not leveraging it to fill your sales pipeline. Team, my name is Varun Dhani. I am the founder of Synergy Consulting. I work with growing businesses and help them build better sales strategy and skills so that you can sell more and earn more. Today, I'm joined by an expert that's going to share some insights on how to get more qualified leads with better email marketing to help you in your selling journey. I hope you get some value out of this conversation and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Art of Selling podcast. It's nice to have you on board.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here, and this is a great opportunity to chat about the wonderful world of email marketing.
Before I start asking you some questions, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Tiffany, founder of Tiffany Digital NZ. I'm an email marketing strategist that helps service-based businesses make a strong first impression with a welcome sequence. I also help service-based businesses leverage email marketing to connect with their clients and build their pipeline.
Part of what I do at Synergy Consulting is I end up working with organizations and sales teams building out their sales strategy or selling skills. And a question that I get asked all the time is, fantastic, I've got a pipeline, but how do I get more leads? And in fact, how do I get more qualified leads? One of the things that we've spoken about, and based on your expertise and specialization, you reckon that organizations have a pot of gold that they are not leveraging as well.
The pot of gold that many small businesses are sitting on are their existing contacts. They also are undervaluing the email marketing channel. So social media is like the big hot thing, and small businesses owners often think, oh, okay, social media is enough. But it's not. It's just one part of the marketing funnel. It's important to have that deeper connection across marketing channels, and email marketing helps take that traffic from your website, from your social media, and bring them into your world, into your email marketing, where you have a direct line to them and they have a direct line to you. You can build authority, you can build trust in a way that you can't in other channels. A lot of small business owners think, oh, I don't open emails, so why would my clients want emails from me? I'm just annoying them. But really, you're not your ideal client and they want to hear from you.
You raise a couple of good points. So, as part of selling, one of the things that salespeople can sometimes dread is cold calling. So when I get asked this question around how do you generate more leads, the thought of cold calling is one that can be quite scary. It's interesting that you talked about how businesses think that the only way to generate leads is either cold calling, it might be ad spend, so Google ad spend or something like that, or you have to leverage social media.
Mhm.
Personally, I wouldn't have actually thought that with the explanation that you've just given, there could be so much to it. I'm already starting with this perception that email is just all about sending newsletters or promotions.
There are so many different types of emails that you can send. It's tempting to just want to fulfill your own needs and send those sales emails one after another. But your potential buyer goes through a journey with you. They are moving from cold to warm to hot. They need to understand what their problem is. They need to understand that you have the solution, that you're the exact person that they need to solve their problem. And so it's important that email marketing is part of your marketing funnel to be able to bring them on that journey. Otherwise, you're competing for that attention over and over again. So, email marketing is a really important part of your marketing mix. Yeah, it's not just about social media, it's not just about cold outreach. It's an important missing piece that many small businesses are snoozing on.
And so clearly, where you might have someone like me where I'm starting off having already this negative mindset around emails. Because as you rightly said, I thought nobody really opens emails. I might utilize it once in a while, etc. I don't see the value in it. Whereas there needs to be much more thought that needs to go into how do you actually build your list, but then also engage with your customers, like you said, to build trust, because building trust isn't easy if you're sending an email once every 6 months.
Exactly. Consistency and a strategic perspective is really important. If you're just randomly sending promotional emails, if you're sending emails like a month apart, 2 months apart, quarterly, it's a waste of your efforts because, for one, you're telling the email marketing systems that your emails are not valuable. And secondly, you're not building that trust, that consistency. Marketing is about repeating the same message, and it may not be always the promotional message, but it's about reinforcing and taking the buyer through that journey.
Let's say a company has an email list and currently they've got this mindset where they don't necessarily see a lot of value in it apart from sending out newsletters, which is a lot of work.
Yeah.
What would be that one piece of advice that you might want to give to a business owner or a sales manager around their existing list? What should they do?
Rather than sending a big long newsletter, break it up into little bites and repurpose your content from your social media, your blog posts. It doesn't need to be time consuming.
You talked about how we have this perception that I don't open emails, so why would I want to put a lot of work into sending out emails? Yet, even if I think about my inbox at the moment, there are some individuals where I'm clearly subscribed to their emails. They tend to be short pieces of value. The emails come to me. It feels like they've written it specifically for me. There's a
Exactly.
nice call to action, which might cause me to read their blog article or their video, and I haven't unsubscribed. There's a part of me that says email doesn't work, and yet here I am as a consumer, subscribed to someone's email list, and I feel like I'm having a conversation with them. And I've never met this person.
Exactly. So often when people say that to me, I don't open emails, so why would anybody else? If they look through their inbox, they would find people that are doing email well. They are keeping it to the point. They are offering value. They are offering their services as well as, and that is value, offering your services.
Mhm.
And they are building that connection by segmenting and talking as if they are right in front of you. You're their best friend. They're talking to a mate and they're sharing a conversation with you because that's what email should be like. It shouldn't be a boring, droning newsletter that basically says, buy my stuff or sends you off in millions of directions. It should be a focused conversation that is personal and relevant and beneficial.
What if there's an organization where they might say, because we didn't see the value of email marketing or understanding it properly, we haven't necessarily been building a list. And I hear this terminology, list building. Can you give me a sense of what that means? What does list building mean? Does this mean I go out and buy a database?
No, definitely never ever purchase a list because, for one, those people are not going to be happy to hear from you. You might get the odd win, but chances are what you'll end up doing is burning your sender's reputation. Everybody has, it's like a credit score. So if you send emails that people open and they click, and it's clear that your emails are valuable, then your credit score will be good. Your sender's score will be good. But if you are sending to a bought database, A, your account may be shut down, and B, your engagement will be trash and it's just not worth it. It's the worst thing. It can seem like it's a quick fix, but there are no quick fixes. List building is about building a community or a collection of emails that are people. It's a direct line to these people where you basically, it's the start of your pipeline. It's the start of your journey together. And you invite them into your list and nurture them through, some people don't like the word nurture, but let's say you build connection with these people. And the best way to do that is your ebook, your checklist, whatever it is that you can offer that's a small action that they can take towards their goal that is aligned with your offer. So if you have a valuable lead magnet that you share often on social media, you can share it on your to your webinar subscribers, to your YouTube subscribers. You can put it on your website. I've got a great freebie for you, and we can pop that in the show notes. That is my 47 ways to build your list without paid ads. With list building, the most important thing is that you share your lead magnet or your freebie as frequently as is natural. So you don't have to do it every single post, but you should be regularly sending people to your list. You should be regularly giving them the opportunity, whether it's through a pop-up, a webinar, your social media posts. It should be everywhere.
I would have this perception that it just means asking people to subscribe to your newsletter, whereas you are talking about being able to deliver a piece of value, have people subscribing, and then starting that engagement.
Absolutely. So just the sign up for updates is not going to cut it these days. People want something, an incentive for e-commerce. That's quite often a discount, free shipping, or something of value for that audience. It has to be something that your ideal client wants, and it should be aligned with your offer, and it should be, say there's A to Z for a goal that your client has. So
Mhm.
they want to be seen online, they want more visibility. So instead of taking them from A to Z in your lead magnet with a big tome of information that they won't read, you want to take them from A to B. And that way you can sell the rest of it.
What might be some of the things that we don't want to do? It's clear that just asking someone to sign up to a newsletter might be very hit and miss. If someone asks me to sign up to their newsletter, it's generally a no because I
Yeah,
don't want to go on to um, I guess a marketing list where I'm not going to get any value. Whereas the ones that I do tend to stay on is where I've got a piece of value where I feel like there's a conversation happening in my email or my inbox with an individual or with a business. So clearly, any business can utilize this process or this stage, right? It doesn't necessarily just have to be in, say, a founder-led organization like I am, because I can send an email specifically coming from me. But if I'm a bigger business, can I still have a conversation with my customers?
absolutely. So as you grow, you tend to use more advanced techniques, but you can use those techniques in a founder led organization as well. So these techniques are segmentation. So splitting up your list into groups. So it's with toys, you put the blue toys here and the green toys here, except with email marketing, it's a group of people that are interested in life coaching versus a group of people that are interested in business coaching or mindfulness. So you're speaking to their interests and their needs, and you can really nail in that message so it feels like you're talking to them. And you can absolutely use email and make relevant messages um, at any size of business, any kind of business.
If I'm a bigger business and I have different product and services, there's still a way of being able to build lists, and it's around making sure that you add value based on the interest of the user. It could be I sign up, I get a bit of value about product X, then in the next email, it tells me a little bit more in terms of the benefits, how someone might utilize it. And we are taking that customer on a journey until we get to that Z, which might be one as you inquire to see if you want to trial it, or if this is for you, or come to a webinar, or whatever that thing is.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a journey. And with bigger businesses, there's so many exciting tools that you can use, like Spark Toro, that build questions into your pop up or your sign up page so that they can self segment. So they can say, I'm interested in this. So send me information on this. And also, there's testing you can do, A B testing for your offers. There's so many techniques you can use with email. With small businesses, they tend to feel overwhelmed with that. So they quite often need to outsource that. But it's not as complicated as it sounds. And there's so many techniques that businesses of all sizes can leverage.
Let's talk about what are some of those common mistakes when it comes to email marketing that might harm some of our sales efforts. So, one, you talked about don't just go and buy a database. That doesn't necessarily add value. If anything, it's going to be a negative for you. Two, don't just send people generic newsletters. What else? What might be some other tips that you can share based on your experience of things that businesses should absolutely avoid when it comes to email marketing?
Don't just go, what am I going to email today? It's better to have a strategic plan. So you want to make sure that your emails are working towards your business goals and are aligned with your audience so that it's not spray and pray.
I like you've used this word strategy, where there's clearly lots to be done with email marketing. You need to have a planned set of steps in this approach to see that success. Otherwise, if you use a haphazard approach, it doesn't work. And then it's a self fulfilling prophecy where people then say, see, email marketing doesn't work. I wanted to ask a question about welcome sequences. So I know it's one of the areas that you specialize in. And I'll get you to talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to come back to the strategy piece again. So, what is a welcome sequence? What does this mean?
So, a welcome sequence is a series of emails that you've got set up in your system that is automatically sent to all new subscribers. They fill out the form and then they join your list, and then that triggers something automatically in your system that sends out the first email. Then it waits a certain amount of time and then it sends the second email. And generally speaking, I recommend that you have 4 to 6 emails. So many small businesses do not have this set up, and it is such a shame. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes that I should have mentioned, which was that a welcome sequence is a top performer. It has um, open rates of they can be around 80%. Click
Wow.
through rates are like double what you normally get. It's your leads are as fresh as possible at that point in time. And it is a crucial time to build that trust and connection. And your email marketing platform can do it all for you once you've set up those emails.
One of the things in skill building, in sales skill building, that I tend to do with organizations is a customer centric approach, which is being able to build trust and rapport with customers before you start to talk about product and services. And one of the examples in my workshops that I tend to give is if you find yourself talking about your product or service within the first engagement with your customer, as in that first interaction, that is like going on a first date and then asking this stranger to marry you. And it can be very off putting and it scares customers off. So, if I understand the welcome sequence correctly, if utilized well, then the sequence of emails is that rapport building. It's where there's a bit of familiarity.
Absolutely. Yes. So it takes them on that journey. So you're explaining who you are and how you can help them in a customer centric way. One of my values is people first. And I think that's another mistake is that it's not all about you. In fact, your email shouldn't be me. It should be about the person you're speaking to. It should be talking to their needs and their desires, and it should take them on that journey. Imagine somebody's turning up at the door and you ignore them. That's what happens when you don't have a welcome sequence.
For any of our listeners or anyone watching this episode, I ended up subscribing to Tiffany's lead magnet and am still on her email list, getting emails from her. And one of the things I found was that the welcome sequence actually works, as in I've signed up, I've got my piece of value, then I've had these short, written, personalized emails, and I feel like I know Tiffany, and I had never met Tiffany before. And so by the time we go to do this podcast, I feel like I know her, I've known her for a long time. And so when she talks about some of the things that she offers in her business, I feel much closer to her, much more open to listening to her advice than getting a newsletter and then for her to do some sort of a hard sell on her services to me. What does a well crafted email sequence look like?
Your first email should deliver the lead magnet. You should always deliver that lead magnet via email.
Okay.
My preference is you don't do the pop-up where it gives it to you straight away, because otherwise there's less incentive to actually go to your email list. And if it's gone to spam, which hopefully it hasn't, but if it has, they can find it. And you set expectations that they're going to be hearing from you again and how often. The next email after that, you want to introduce yourself. You can introduce your values, your mission, a little bit about your brand, but in a way that they will care about. So, again, like you've said, the customer centric approach. And then the next email after that, it's about them, talking about their needs, what the value is that you offer. And you ask for their feedback, ask for reply. Asking for replies is really important because it sends good messages for that sender score. And it also opens up that conversation, because it should be a two-way conversation. It's not a broadcast, it's a conversation. Depending on how long your sequence is, you could then maybe do your promo email. But I quite often like to have a slightly longer one where you're sharing a testimonial or a client story or some valuable content. I like to have that in there so that they can show what they're interested in. So you give them an option of two different kind of topics, and they can say, I'm interested in this. And that tells your system what they're interested in. And you can use that for segmentation. And it always ends in an opportunity to take the next step. And it doesn't need to be a hard sell. It just needs to be, this is how you can take the next step. This is the benefit, and make it about them again.
I like what you talked about there in terms of letting the customer know what's going to happen next. In a good sales process, one of the things that I share with salespeople is signposting. A customer should always know what's going to happen next, because then they're expecting it, they're anticipating it. It's not a surprise. And so I like how there's a beautiful alignment in terms of the selling strategies that we tend to use with B2B sales and email marketing.
It's a different feel to a salesperson talking to you, but it still uses similar principles because we're all taking people on a journey. So, yeah, it's just a different medium.
I want to come back to this conversation around having a strategy when it comes to email marketing. What would you say are some of the key elements of a good email strategy?
A good strategy focuses on the two most important things first, which are your goals and your business. It gives a summary of what your mission is, what your goals are. For example, my goals are to grow my visibility, to build connection and trust, and to become an authority. So those are my long term goals. But you have your business goals, just pick a couple, and have your ideal client laid out for you. I use buyer personas. So I'd have two people usually that are based on data that I use to write my emails. So that's how I build that one on one feel. And so, audience, goals, then you have your plan. there's an audit process when you create a strategy. So every single email is aligned with those goals and with that target audience. And then you've got a review in there with recommendations. You lay out what you're going to do in order to achieve those goals using email marketing. So that could be list building, that could be segmentation, so that you're making sure you've got relevant emails. You could have visibility, because people need to know that you exist in order to sign up to your email list. And also in there as well is the core fundamentals of a strategy. So the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, SWOT, I like to have
Mhm.
in there, and the competitor analysis. So I look through what your competitors are doing to get to know your niche better. And it's not about copying them, it's about seeing the gaps, because you want to be unique. You don't want to be doing the same thing as everybody else.
I can see all of the clear elements of a good strategy, but also why you're an email marketing specialist and have the experience in this area, because this isn't something that you can just wing by sending a few emails out. Clearly, if you're an organization that's looking for scale, looking for growth, you're looking to connect with your customers, you're looking to get those qualified leads and add value to your customers, you need to make sure that you have the strategy right. Otherwise, it isn't going to be very successful.
Exactly. And if somebody says email marketing didn't work for me, chances are it's because they've committed the mistakes that we've talked about today. So, not segmenting, not personalizing, not having a strategic plan, buying a list, all those things are the essentials of making sure that you do emails right.
If there's a business out there or a sales manager out there who is still skeptical about the values of email marketing, what would you say? What's that one piece of advice, or maybe not one, but what might be that piece of advice that you give them so that they consider this seriously?
There's a reason why almost every marketer that you speak to will say email is essential. It delivers. It is has proven the test of time. While things come and go, email marketing has remained solid. One example I can give you is a lovely email copywriter that I follow, Alex from the Copy Posse, achieves 600% more revenue from email marketing than from social media.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. 600% from email rather than social media. That And she's big on social media as well. If you're not doing it, your competitor is. So
Mhm.
it's something you do not want to snooze on. I've had a client that we hadn't even finished the welcome sequence, and she took one of the emails from the welcome sequence, sent it out to a prospect. They booked a call and they purchased her program. Bang.
Wow. Let's talk about, I guess, differences between service based businesses and product based businesses. Are there any unique considerations when it comes to either email marketing, list building, or welcome sequences that are unique to service based businesses?
Absolutely. I specialize in service based businesses. The key kind of takeaways I would say for service based businesses is your emails don't need to be pretty. They use the messaging rather than focusing on the prettiness. And that works for service based businesses, because service based businesses, the investment's quite often higher than your $20 t shirt. So you have to build that trust. And also, it helps with deliverability. So landing in the inbox instead of spam is easier when you use ugly emails where they're mostly text. So that is probably my number one.
What about product based businesses? And I'm looking for you to consider business to business, where one organization will sell some sort of a product to another. How can email marketing and welcome sequences be leveraged by those type of organizations?
The journey is slightly different. So you would be still building trust, but the person that it's targeting is slightly different. It's more focused around how that product will help them. What you want to focus on is the benefits. You want to give demonstrations. How are they going to feel if they're using the product?
In my previous business, we were a distribution company. We sold product to other businesses that then wrapped their services around it and delivered it to end customers. A good way of being able to add some value might be giving them some sort of value that they are subscribing to, and you get them onto an email list. Then, based on the interest, as in the type of business and what they do, might create some segmentation of the products they're interested in. And then the sequence could be, here are the 5 ways to leverage this specific type of product, or here are the problems that this product will solve for you. These are the things to look out for. And it creates this beautiful journey before it's, do you want to try one? Or we've got one for trial that you should come and have a look at, or here is an event where you get to try one in your business or something like that. So the journey stays the same. It's just making sure that it's adjusted to suit a B2B. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely, yes. You want them to have that experience before you get into the nitty gritty part of it.
With everything that we've talked about, I came into this conversation almost having a negative view in terms of email marketing. I was thinking you can't really get good leads out of it. Nobody opens emails. Whereas you have articulated to me the value of how a proper strategy with your email marketing can still give that customer centric approach. It's not about buying lists and sending newsletters, it's delivering value, having people on your list based on their interests, and then taking them from A to B rather than taking them to A to Z, which sometimes email marketing tends to do. They're looking to make a sale. I feel like I'm missing out in terms of leveraging this. Now, what you have talked about is quite a bit of work. You need quite a bit of thinking and expertise around it, which is why obviously you do what you do. How can you help businesses?
I take care of that strategic planning for you. So I'm your strategic partner. You are the expert in your industry. So we come together and we pull together a strategic plan that's aligned with your goals. It takes that thinking out of it. So you're not sitting down and going, right, what am I going to write today? Is it going to work? How is it going to get me closer to my goals? I'm just lost. Um, I take that pressure, that weight off your shoulders and give you a plan. So your platform is optimized, your emails are optimized, your data is clean. So you haven't got unengaged people dragging down your stats. You've got the right people that you're talking to, and you're building connection, you're building trust. And most importantly, that you have a welcome sequence that brings them from that first interaction into your world and takes them through a journey that takes them closer to a mutually beneficial goal.
For anyone that's watching or listening, how do they get in touch with you?
You can find me at Tiffany Digital NZ. I am on Instagram, but yeah, my favorite place is email.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay, it's been a fantastic episode. I'd like to quickly summarize for both our listeners and anyone watching. So, it's really important to know that if you're an organization and you already have an email database, a marketing list, that is a pot of gold that might be completely untapped if you don't have a strategy and you are not nurturing those customers. So, if you're looking to get more sales, get more leads, fill your sales pipeline, this is the place to start based on what Tiffany has shared with us. If you don't have a good, clean list, you want to make sure that you start that work straight away. To build your list, you want to deliver some sort of value to your ideal customers, to the people that are engaging with your business through a lead magnet. And that is the way that you start your list building process. If you don't have this in your business, it's something you want to leverage straight away. Emails are not just about newsletters and blogs. To be fair, I thought that's what emails were all about. Tiffany has shared with us a way of being able to connect with your customers, create that level of trust and authority with what you are offering. So if you are looking to stand out from your competitors, this is the way to do it. If you want to maximize the value from your email list, you need a strategy. So you can't just be getting maximum value out through a haphazard approach of sending one or two emails. And of course, this is where the experts come into play. You want to spend some time figuring out what your welcome sequence looks like, because that is like having a customer at your front door who is looking to engage with you and you say nothing if currently all they're getting is a promotional email maybe once every 6 months. Try and think about what a good email sequence might look like. And of course, Tiffany can help there as well. It's a great way of being able to build some trust. And if all of this sounds super overwhelming and you are not sure what to do, then get in touch with Tiffany, because she's an expert. She's been doing this for a while. She utilizes this strategy in her business. I've subscribed to her lead magnet and am on her email list. I feel like I've got a relationship with her. It works. So um, have a look in the show notes or in the link that might be in the description, where you can find those 47 different strategies on how to build your email list from Tiffany. Team, I want to thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that it's added value for you. It's going to help you build more leads, get more sales, so that you can sell more and earn more. Until the next episode, thank you very much.